Welcome to Paradox Lab. Look up at the night sky on a clear, cloudless evening, far from the suffocating glow of city lights, and you will see a sprawling, glittering tapestry of stars. It is a sight that has inspired poets, philosophers, and scientists for millennia, a boundless ocean of light that seems to invite us outward. We look at the Milky Way, a faint, milky band of starlight stretching across the firmament, and we feel a profound, almost spiritual sense of wonder. We ask ourselves the ultimate question: are we alone? For decades, our greatest minds have operated under a singular, deeply optimistic assumption. We have believed that the universe is a grand community waiting to be discovered, a cosmic brotherhood of enlightened civilizations. We have cast our gaze outward with the eager, wide-eyed innocence of a child walking into a new neighborhood, hoping to make friends. This is the grand illusion of the modern age, a magnificent and terrifying naivety that has driven us to scream our existence into the unfathomable depths of the cosmos. We assume that because we have achieved a modicum of civilization, because we have built cathedrals, composed symphonies, and split the atom, any species capable of traversing the stars must have also evolved past the barbaric realities of conquest and destruction. We project our own highest ideals, our post-enlightenment dreams of universal human rights, peace, and scientific cooperation onto the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space. This illusion is deeply embedded in our culture, shaping everything from our science fiction to our actual scientific policy. Consider the Arecibo message, transmitted in 1974 from the massive radio telescope, nestled in the jungles of Puerto Rico. We beamed a 3-minute radio message toward the globular star cluster, M13, 25,000 light-years away. We packed this transmission with a tremendous amount of extremely sensitive data. We included the fundamental chemicals of life, the structure of our DNA, a stick figure of a human being, the population of our planet, and most damning of all, a map of our solar system, highlighting the exact third rock from the sun where we live. We essentially broadcast our genetic vulnerabilities, our exact numbers, and our precise cosmic home address to anyone who might be listening. Or consider the Voyager Golden Records, launched in 1977. These gold-plated copper phonograph records were bolted to the side of the Voyager probes, destined to drift through interstellar space for billions of years. We filled them with the sounds of Earth, wind, rain, birds, the heartbeat of a mother, and musical selections ranging from Bach to Chuck Berry. But we also included a pulsar map, a set of cosmic coordinates that points directly back to our sun, using the universal metric of rapidly rotating neutron stars as a triangulation grid. We did this because we fundamentally believe in the benevolence of the unknown. We suffer from a profound anthropocentric bias, assuming that technological advancement operates on a parallel track with moral advancement. We look back at our own history and tell ourselves a comforting narrative that as we have grown more technologically sophisticated, from the Bronze Age to the Information Age, we have also become more peaceful, more diplomatic, and more civilized. Therefore, we reason a civilization capable of building starships must be entirely peaceful, having left war behind as a primitive relic of their planetary infancy. We imagine them as the Vulcans of Star Trek, logical, serene, and eager to welcome us into a united federation of planets. But to understand the sheer suicidal recklessness of this assumption, we must examine our own history with an unflinching gaze. The historical record is littered with the catastrophic consequences of contact between civilizations of vastly different technological levels. When Christopher Columbus and the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Americas, they did not bring a united federation of planets. They brought steel, gunpowder, and disease. The indigenous populations of the Americas, the Taino, the Aztecs, the Incas, were sophisticated, complex societies, but they lacked the specific technological adaptations of the Europeans. The result was not a peaceful exchange of culture and philosophy. It was an apocalyptic demographic collapse, a near-total annihilation of entire civilizations, driven by a combination of brutal conquest, resource extraction, and biological pathogens. If we want a more precise analogy for broadcasting our presence to the universe, we need only look at the behavior of uncontacted tribes in the dense canopy of the Amazon rainforest. When these tribes hear the roaring engines of logging machinery or the unnatural whir of a drone flying overhead, their survival depends entirely on their ability to remain hidden. If they were to light a massive bonfire and start shouting into the jungle to signal their location, they would not attract benevolent anthropologists offering medical aid and philosophical discourse. They would attract illegal loggers, heavily armed cartels, and ruthless prospectors who view the tribe not as equals, but as a minor obstacle standing between them and the resources of the forest. The forest is vast, and the entities operating within it have motives that the tribe cannot even begin to comprehend. By screaming into the cosmic void, humanity is acting like an uncontacted tribe lighting a bonfire in a dark forest, entirely oblivious to the predatory eyes that might be watching from the shadows. The universe is not a friendly neighborhood. It is not a cosmic UN assembly. To understand what the universe actually is, we must strip away our romanticism, our wishful thinking, and our biological bias towards sociability, and examine the cold, mathematical reality of cosmic sociology. We must confront the chilling, utterly terrifying logic of the dark forest theory. To comprehend the granular mechanics of the dark forest, we must first establish the absolute, unyielding axioms that govern life on a galactic scale. The theory, famously popularized by the Chinese science fiction author Liu Cixin, operates on two fundamental principles of cosmic sociology. The first axiom is that survival is the primary need of any civilization. Before art, before science, before philosophy, a civilization must first ensure its own continued existence. The drive to survive is woven into the very fabric of life itself, from the simplest single-celled organism, dividing in a primordial soup, to a multi-planetary empire, harvesting the energy of a dying star. The second axiom is that civilizations will continuously grow and expand, but the total matter and resources in the universe remain constant and finite. Life is an entropy-accelerating engine. It consumes order and leaves behind chaos, relentlessly seeking new energy sources to fuel its own expansion. Even if a civilization manages to stabilize its population, its appetite for energy, computational power, and raw materials will inevitably increase. Therefore, the universe is a closed ecological system, a cosmic petri dish where infinite ambition collides with finite resources. When you combine these two axioms, the absolute imperative to survive and the inevitable competition for limited resources, you create a landscape of inescapable Darwinian tension. But the true horror of the dark forest emerges when we introduce a third variable, the sheer, incomprehensible vastness of space and the physical limits of the universe itself. The speed of light is not just a speed limit. It is an absolute boundary on causality and communication. If we were to detect a civilization 10,000 light years away, any message we send them will take 10,000 years to arrive, and their reply will take another 10,000 years. We are not communicating with them as they are. We are communicating with ghosts of their past. This immense temporal and spatial gulf creates what is known as the chain of suspicion. Imagine you are leading a civilization and you suddenly detect a faint radio signal from a distant star system. You now know that another intelligence exists. You must decide whether to attempt communication or to remain silent. If you communicate, you reveal your position. Now, Consider the psychological architecture of this encounter. You cannot know if this alien civilization is benevolent or hostile. Even if you somehow believe they might be benevolent, you cannot know that they know that you are benevolent. They might look at your transmission and assume it is a trap. Furthermore, even if you both are peaceful, you cannot guarantee that you will remain peaceful in the future, or that a cultural shift won't turn them into aggressive expansionists. The chain of suspicion is an intergalactic iteration of the classic prisoner's dilemma from game theory, but played with the highest possible stakes: the extinction of your entire species. In the prisoner's dilemma, two individuals are isolated and must choose to either cooperate or betray each other. Because they cannot communicate, the most rational mathematical choice is always to betray the other person to minimize your own risk. On a galactic scale, communication is effectively impossible due to the speed of light delay, making cooperation a profound existential risk. This dilemma is radically exacerbated by the phenomenon of the technological explosion. Human history proves that technological progress is not linear. It is exponential. It took our species hundreds of thousands of years to transition from sharpened stones to agriculture. It took a few thousand years to move from agriculture to the Industrial Revolution. It took less than a century to move from the first powered flight to walking on the moon, and a mere few decades to connect the entire planet with a digital neural network. A civilization might spend 1,000,000 years stagnant, and then suddenly, within a few centuries, undergo a technological explosion that grants them the power to manipulate space-time and harvest the energy of entire galaxies. Because of this, you cannot judge the threat level of an alien civilization based on the signal you receive today. If you detect a civilization that appears to be at a Bronze Age level of technology, they are completely harmless to you right now. However, if they are thousands of light years away, the light you are seeing is thousands of years old. By the time you send a fleet to investigate, or by the time they notice you, they could have undergone a technological explosion and become vastly superior to you. Therefore, if survival is your primary need, and you cannot guarantee the intentions of an alien species, and you know they could experience a sudden technological explosion that makes them an unstoppable threat, what is the only rational, mathematically sound action to take upon discovering another civilization? It is immediate, total, and uncompromising annihilation. You do not send a diplomatic envoy. You do not send a probe to study them. You strike first with overwhelming and lethal force to eliminate the potential threat before it can eliminate you. The most efficient method would not be a fleet of massive, slow-moving battleships. It would be relativistic kill vehicles, dense masses of matter accelerated to a fraction of the speed of light, invisible to detection until the exact moment they impact a planet, shattering the crust and boiling the oceans in a matter of hours. The universe, under this model, is not a grand, enlightened community. It is a dark forest. Every civilization is an armed hunter stalking through the trees like a ghost, gently pushing aside branches that block the path and trying to tread without sound. Even breathing is done with care. The hunter has to be careful because everywhere in the forest are stealthy hunters like him. If he finds other life, another hunter, an angel or a demon, a delicate infant or a tottering old man, a fairy or a demigod, there is only one thing he can do: open fire and eliminate them. In this forest, hell is other people, an eternal threat that any life that exposes its own existence will be swiftly wiped out. But what if we flip the script? What if this grim, terrifying vision of a predatory cosmos is just a projection of our own deeply flawed, violent primate psychology? We must examine the antithesis, the counter-arguments that suggest the dark forest is a paranoid delusion. The most robust argument against the dark forest theory is the concept of post-scarcity and the energetic economics of interstellar war. The dark forest assumes that resources are fiercely contested, driving civilizations to preemptive slaughter. But a civilization capable of interstellar travel or relativistic weaponry has likely already solved its resource constraints. If you can harness the entire energy output of a star using a Dyson sphere, a megastructure enclosing a sun to capture its solar power, you possess effectively infinite energy. With infinite energy, you can synthesize any material you need. You can construct artificial habitats, mine uninhabited asteroids, and engineer your own physical reality. Why would a Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale, swimming in the boundless energy of their local star, bother launching an incredibly expensive, energy-intensive relativistic strike against a primitive species on a rock like Earth? It would be like a modern superpower launching an intercontinental ballistic missile to destroy a single termite mound in the middle of the Sahara Desert. The cost vastly outweighs any conceivable benefit. Furthermore, we must consider the zoo hypothesis. Perhaps the galaxy is indeed teeming with advanced life, but they have formed a collective agreement, a galactic federation of sorts, not out of fear, but out of a desire to protect the natural development of younger species. They might be observing us, studying our chaotic cultural evolution, the same way we study chimpanzee troops in a nature reserve. They impose a quarantine around our solar system, strictly forbidding any contact until we reach a specific technological or moral threshold, such as the discovery of faster-than-light travel or the establishment of a unified, peaceful planetary government. In this view, the silence of the cosmos is not the silence of a terrified prey animal. It is the silence of a reverent observer standing behind one-way glass. We can also look to the biological reality of our own planet. While predation exists, ecosystems are also defined by profound, complex webs of symbiosis and mutualism. The mitochondria in our very cells are the result of ancient bacteria merging rather than destroying one another. Cooperation is frequently a more successful evolutionary strategy than pure aggression. Therefore, an advanced civilization might recognize that the greatest resource in the universe is not physical matter, but information, diversity, and novel ways of thinking. By destroying another civilization, you are destroying a unique library of biological, cultural, and technological data that could never be replaced. But we must systematically dismantle these comforting counterarguments, for they suffer from a fatal flaw: the assumption of universal rationality and the requirement of unanimous consensus. Let us address the post-scarcity argument first. Even if a civilization has infinite energy, they do not have infinite security. Space may be vast, but the speed of a relativistic kill vehicle makes it terrifyingly small. A post-scarcity civilization still has something to lose: its own existence. The cost of launching a preemptive strike might be high, but the cost of not launching it and being wrong about the other civilization's intentions is extinction. When the penalty for a miscalculation is the death of your entire species, paranoia becomes the ultimate evolutionary advantage. Paranoia is selected for. Blind optimism is violently selected against. As for the zoo hypothesis and the idea of a benevolent galactic federation, this requires an impossible level of long-term stability and absolute unanimity. Imagine a galaxy with 100,000 advanced civilizations. 99,999 of them might be peaceful, post-scarcity, enlightened societies that wish us no harm. They want to observe us, protect us, and eventually welcome us. But it only takes one. It only takes a single rogue civilization, a single paranoid artificial superintelligence, a single fanatical religious empire, that believes it is their divine mandate to cleanse the galaxy of all other life. You do not need the entire forest to be hostile for the forest to be deadly. You only need one apex predator with a sufficiently sensitive microphone. We can observe this dynamic in the devastating ecological impact of invasive species on Earth. Consider the introduction of the cane toad to Australia in the 1930s. The Australian ecosystem was incredibly diverse, complex, and relatively stable. The native species had evolved alongside each other for millions of years, but the cane toad was an entirely foreign context. It was highly toxic, bred rapidly, and had no natural predators in that environment. It didn't conquer Australia through malicious intent or complex strategy. It simply followed its biological imperative to consume and multiply, annihilating native predator populations in the process. A single hostile civilization in the galaxy acts like the ultimate invasive species. Furthermore, advanced civilizations might not destroy us out of malice or fear, but out of sheer bureaucratic indifference. When a construction crew paves over an anthill to build a highway, they do not do it because they hate ants. They do it because the ants are utterly irrelevant to the overarching goal of building the highway. If a Type 3 civilization decides to re-engineer the Orion arm of the Milky Way for a new hyperspace bypass, the extermination of Earth would simply be a rounding error in a cosmic spreadsheet. The dark forest is not necessarily filled with evil monsters. It may simply be filled with entities whose motives, scales, and operations are so vastly beyond our comprehension that our existence is merely collateral damage in their grand designs. If humanity truly internalizes the reality of the dark forest, the massive ripple effects will shatter every foundation of our global civilization. We are standing on the precipice of a profound paradigm shift, one that will dictate our economics, our psychology, our sociology, and the entire trajectory of our future. If we accept that the universe is a silent, predatory battleground, the immediate, overwhelming priority of the human species will shift from exploration to absolute, paranoid concealment. We will enter an era of planetary lockdown. The most immediate casualty will be the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, and any active messaging programs like METI, messaging, extraterrestrial intelligence. These endeavors will not just be defunded, they will be criminalized as acts of ultimate planetary treason. The idea of intentionally broadcasting our location into the void will be viewed with the same horror and revulsion as a lone soldier shining a massive spotlight into the sky during an active bombing raid. But simply stopping intentional messages is nowhere near enough. For the past century, Earth has been a noisy, glowing beacon in the electromagnetic spectrum. Our television broadcasts, our military radar, our deep space network communications, our GPS satellites, all of it bleeds out into space, an expanding bubble of artificial noise, currently over 100 light-years in diameter. The economics of the next century will be entirely consumed by the desperate need to cloak the planet. Trillions of dollars, resources that could have been used to cure disease, end poverty, or colonize Mars, will be diverted into creating planetary shielding. We will have to fundamentally re-engineer our global communication infrastructure. We will abandon unshielded radio and microwave transmissions entirely, retreating to hardwired fiber optics and highly directional, tightly focused laser communications that do not leak into the void. The night side of Earth, currently a glittering web of artificial light visible from deep space, will have to be plunged into darkness. We will develop sophisticated atmospheric scattering technologies to diffuse the spectral signature of our atmosphere, masking the chemical imbalances of oxygen and methane that clearly indicate the presence of a biosphere. Earth will transform from a vibrant, glowing jewel into a stealth ship, running silently and deeply through the dark waters of space, the psychological and sociological impact on humanity will be devastating. We are a social species, driven by an innate desire to connect, to discover, and to expand our horizons. For our entire history, the frontier has represented hope, opportunity, and the promise of a brighter future. But under the shadow of the dark forest, the frontier becomes a source of absolute existential terror. The night sky will no longer be viewed as a canvas of dreams. It will be viewed as a sniper's nest. Children will be taught to look at the stars not with wonder, but with dread. The psychological toll of living under a cosmic sword of Damocles, knowing that a relativistic kill vehicle could be hurtling toward us at near light speed, invisible and unstoppable, will fundamentally alter the human spirit. We will see the rise of deeply insular, hyper-authoritarian planetary governance, a species living in perpetual fear of a preemptive cosmic strike cannot afford the luxury of deeply divided, squabbling nation-states. The necessity of maintaining absolute electromagnetic silence and coordinating planetary defense will require a centralized, iron-fisted authority. We will become a bunker society, both literally and metaphorically. The wealthiest and most powerful will construct massive, self-sustaining habitats deep underground, miles beneath the Earth's crust, hoping that miles of solid rock might offer some meager protection against a kinetic bombardment from the stars. Art, literature, and philosophy will take on a grim, fatalistic tone, obsessed with themes of hiding, survival, and the cold indifference of the universe. The drive for interstellar exploration will die, replaced by a desperate, agonizing desire to not be noticed. We will become a species of mice, shivering in the walls of a grand, dark house, knowing that the cats are out there, endlessly prowling in the dark. This brings us to the grand synthesis, the heavy, philosophical culmination of our place in the cosmos. We must reconcile the breathtaking beauty of the universe with its underlying, terrifying mechanics. We are the universe experiencing itself, a fleeting spark of consciousness in an ocean of dead matter. For so long, we have desperately sought a reflection of ourselves in the cosmos, yearning for a cosmic companion to tell us that we matter, that our struggles have meaning, that our existence is not just a random biological accident on a minor rock orbiting an unremarkable yellow dwarf star. We have shouted into the void because we are fundamentally, profoundly lonely. We are the only species on Earth that can look at the stars and feel a sense of isolation. But the dark forest theory forces us to confront the devastating possibility that our loneliness is not a tragedy to be cured, but the very mechanism of our survival. The silence of the universe is not an empty void. It is a crowded room where everyone is holding their breath. The lack of alien signals, the eerie quiet of the cosmos, is not proof that we are alone. It is proof that the cosmic sociology of survival is functioning perfectly. Every civilization that survived its infancy eventually learned the same bitter lesson. The universe does not reward the loud, the proud, or the aggressively optimistic. It rewards the paranoid, the silent, and the hidden. We are a profoundly beautiful, deeply flawed species. We are capable of composing symphonies that can bring tears to the eyes, of understanding the quantum mechanics of the atom, of loving each other with a fierce, irrational intensity. But our greatest strength, our innate sociability, our desire to reach out, to touch, to communicate, is our greatest, most fatal vulnerability on the galactic stage. We must learn to divorce our biological impulses from our cosmic strategy. We must learn to look at the majestic, swirling arms of the Andromeda Galaxy, the blazing nebulas, and the dense, chaotic clusters of stars, and understand that beneath that staggering beauty lies a battlefield of ancient, hyper-advanced apex predators, locked in an eternal, silent war of attrition. The realization of the dark forest is the end of humanity's childhood. It is the moment we realize that the universe is not a playground, and there are no benevolent parents coming to guide us. There is only the cold, hard math of survival, the unforgiving laws of physics, and the terrifying expanse of the unknown. We must stop screaming our vulnerabilities into the endless dark. We must swallow our pride, extinguish our beacons, and learn to appreciate the profound, agonizing beauty of our isolation. For in this dark, infinite forest, the silence of the stars is not a tragedy. It is a warning. It is a testament to the billions of civilizations that learned too late that the most dangerous thing you can do in a universe of hunters is to speak your own name. We must listen to the silence, understand its chilling implication, and choose, with every ounce of our collective will, to quietly, fiercely, and silently survive.